Hi, I'm Lynn Ann King, and welcome to Crushed Vine to Voice, Season 2, Rooted Legacy and Wild Freedom. In this final episode of Season 2, we return to Maple Creek Ranch and Winery Estate with winemaker, artist, and steward of the land, Tom Rodrigues. This episode is titled Stewardship, Passing the Torch, Rooted in Spirit when Land Speaks Back. And that's exactly what we explore, what it means to care for a place so deeply that it begins to speak to you, guide you, and ultimately let you go. Tom has spent the last 24 years pouring his heart, soul, and creative vision into this remarkable 164-acre estate in Yorkville, California, right off Highway 128. He's transformed the land, building an art studio, expanding the wine tasting room, planting vineyards, and cultivating a wine club with over 1,400 loyal members. But beyond the grapes and upgrades, Tom shares what makes this place truly sacred: the peace, the wildlife, the starlit skies, the deep silence that invites reflection. This is a conversation about legacy, not just what you leave behind, but how you prepare your heart to pass it forward. And Tom, ever the artist and winemaker, offers not just wisdom, but vision for the next steward. Let's step into this final chapter of his stewardship and hear what the land has to say. Tom, what kind of person do you imagine walking this land after you?
Good question. Um, I think somebody who has a love for nature, number one. Still having the need to be connected to the Bay Area. You're only 20 miles in from Cloverdale on scenic Highway 128, in California here. So you still have access to the big city, a couple hours away, but you have a sense of being out in nature. My closest miles are a mile. Closest neighbors are a mile apart on either side of me. There's abundant wildlife here. You actually feel like you're in the wilderness, but yet we have a mile-long paved road from the highway to the house, and then a mile of dirt road above. So there's a plenty of open space here. There's wonderful hiking. There's incredible nature, wildlife here. That gives you a sense of peace. You're breathing fresh air, no pollution. You see the stars at night. It's magical. So I would think somebody who has an appreciation for all of the above and all that I've just mentioned would be the ideal person.
Yes. And as the wind, Mother Nature, as you say, has the poker hand,
Yeah.
are there any parts of this property that feel sacred to you?
Oh, there's so many. I meditate, so there are many places on this property that I hike to meditate. There's the creek. We have an area we call the picnic spot, which is up in the top of the property. Beautiful westerly views. We watch the sunset from there. From the house, you can see the sunrise and the sunset on any given day. So in the vineyard is very, very sacred to me, being a farmer and grower. So yeah, just put your boots on and go for a hike, and you'll find those spots.
That's so beautiful. So, what do you hope people feel when they come here?
Well, instantly there's a sense. I hear this a lot from our visitors that come. Is a sense of peace. They feel like they can turn their cell phone off and just kind of unwind and unplug, and we encourage that. It's a place where you can just be, literally just be.
Nice. That's highly underrated these days, huh?
It's free. The entertainment's free.
So, if you could leave a letter for the next owner, what would it say?
It would start by saying, "Don't stop believing," because you have a dream, you can make it happen here. I did. I had a dream. I wanted to become a winemaker, and I wanted to make world-class wines.
And you did.
And I fortunately have had some luck there. And so I think that it's a place where dreams can come true. It's kind of where dreams and reality meet. Maple Creek.
That's nice. And what emotions do you feel when you're completely alone in this place?
Well, again, there's the sense of peace and relaxation. It's very easy to get wrapped up into the craziness in our world that we live in today, in this 2025. And here is a place where you can let all of that go, and it doesn't affect you as much, you know. Stay away from your phone. Stay away from the media. Get out of the traffic. Get off the highway. You know, put your boots on. Go for a walk. This is the place for that.
So Tom, tell us about the wonderful upgrades that you've done, and then the new stewards coming in. What you could suggest for them.
Well, the previous owners were fantastic. They kind of sketched the canvas here, so to speak. The road is paved. I have paved it once over the 24 years. It could, this part of it here, the first mile of it. I've done a lot of improvements on the winery. It was a tin roof, and now it's R39 insulation, where you can actually make wine and not get cooked. It stays very cool in there. We've got a cabin down here that we've put up. We've got a guest house. I built an art studio, and we have 3 horse stalls, a barn, equipment barn. I've developed the springs. I've done some lots of vineyard work. We've done some grafting from our Merlot to Pinot Noir. I can keep going on the improvements, but there is maintenance to have a property this large. There's lots of weed whacking and things like that to do to keep the fire danger down. But
so what would you suggest the new owner think about doing to enhance this property?
Well, if let's say I was going to be here longer, I would consider building a larger winery, and because I'm bonded for 10,000 cases, and most I ever produced was 6,000. And I would build. I've had a cave guy come up here and take a look, and we have excellent soil for a cave for storage. So I would consider building a new winery and a cave system. I would consider planting more grapes. We have 60 possible acres that are plantable as far as slope goes. There's only 12 that's fenced in. There's about 5 of those 12 that are not planted at the moment, that could be planted in there. So those would be the first things I would think about considering doing to up the production. And because this is such an amazing area for growing grapes. The soils are perfect, the water is plentiful, the slope is right, and the weather is fantastic, especially with climate change, because we have the coastal influence and with the fog and the cooler temperatures. Those would be, that would be the direction I would go if I was going to stay on it and I was a few years younger.
You once mentioned that the Napa and Sonoma vineyards growing are moving out here because of the cooler nights, and that this could become the premier again.
Anderson Valley is yes, I believe that to be true with climate change coming on pretty strong, that there's lots of possibilities here and opportunity in this particular area of Mendocino County because of that coastal influence and the cooler temperatures. Because we even have 100+ degree temperatures here in the summer, and it never used to be like that when I first moved here 24 years ago. But we've had 114 temperatures in the vineyard.
But the nights cool down.
But we get a 30 to 40 degree
swing
in temperature. So that's where quality is formed, because your grapes swell during the day and they shrink at night. And we always pick them when they're cold and tight, because they're concentrated flavors. So that is getting harder to find in Sonoma and Napa with the warmer nights. And so that, I think, is key. And I think that's where you're seeing some of these Napa Valley and Sonoma County larger vineyards are actually buying up properties out this way.
That's incredible. The Great Migration.
The Great Migration, yeah. And we're all neighbors, so we're all doing the same thing. It's just we're a little bit further north and west.
I had the pleasure of driving the 19 miles from Cloverdale on California Highway Scenic 128.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the drive. I really
great
enjoyed driving.
It's a little windy, that first part, but you get used to it. Some people are visitors, some people are a little road weary, but it sort of it straightens out on your way to the coast. From here to Boonville is about 6-7 miles, and then we're actually 36 miles to the coast from this spot, and then you go through 11 miles of redwoods, and you go through another 20 miles of vineyard and rolling hills. It's gorgeous. I mean, this was one of my favorite motorcycle roads in California. That's how I found the place.
Sports cars and motorcycles.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, it's quite a personal question. How do you emotionally prepare to let go of something you've poured your heart and soul into for almost 24 years? Well,
for me, it's an age thing, and it's a timely thing. I just got married 5 years ago to a beautiful Canadian gal, and it's time to, in the 24 years I've been here, I've only been on 4 2-week vacations, and they've all been with my new bride the last 4 years. So I'd like to travel a little bit. I don't know how much time I have left, and I think there's some places I'd like to see and go. And my wife, I'd like to spend some time with her in Canada. And she's one of 7, and I think that it's time to, spread that love to that part of the family.
That's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So trading the emotion of the love of the land for the emotion of travel and deeper connections with friends and hanging out, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So how does one listen to the land when they're here?
Just stop. Turn your phone off. Go outside. Sit down and breathe. Meditate. There's birds. There's so much going on that you'd be amazed what you see by not doing anything other than just paying attention to what's around you.
And would you be open for the next owner to consult with them to keep the quality, the gold standard
Absolutely.
wines?
Yeah, because there's a part of me that never wants to leave, and I would consider being a consulting winemaker, and I'll teach them everything I know. It's a lot going on the ranch. It's a big ranch. There's a lot going on in the vineyard, and I'm very passionate about winemaking, and that's always a possibility. Sure.
And you'd introduce them to all the neighbors?
I'd introduce them to all the neighbors.
You'd have a big party. Introduce them to all the neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Tom, for your time today and your insights and your beautiful Maple Creek, ranch and winery. I drove up here today earlier, and it was such a beautiful drive, and I noticed that your sign is so beautifully positioned on the highway. You have beautiful wine tasting signs, the wine tasting, keep going, because once you get here, through the paved road, it's a lovely setting. We have a outdoor picnic area that we're here
during the COVID years.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's beautiful. So you can come get a bottle of wine, have a little picnic here, go walk on the creek.
Yep.
And Join the wine club. Now, one other thing. You said that your wine club membership was thriving and it allowed you to put in a lot of money to keep the place upgraded. And what are some of those numbers, if you don't mind?
Well, we had 1,400 members in our wine club. Um, we only ship out twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, and you can customize your shipment, which makes it very user friendly, because people like certain varietals over others, and I usually make the selection, and you'll get an email in advance telling you what's going to be there. And if you don't, or if you want to make changes in that, you can customize your shipment. And we ship out in April and October.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You have wine club members all over the country.
We ship to 27 different states. And there's a few states that you cannot ship to. For example,
Utah.
Utah is one. New Jersey is a real difficult state. And we do use an outside shipping company for some of the other states that we are not licensed to. So and we use UPS. They come up here every day. So that's probably that's been a big lifesaver for us, because of COVID kind of killed a lot of small businesses, which we've been able to deal with, and shipping was one of those ways that we dealt with COVID. But wine clubs are fun. I mean, we have parties, we have special events, and we have some specials every now and then.